वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे प्रभुपाद जय शिल प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमद His Divine Grace AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya, Beauty founder Acharya, Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottara Shata Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय. ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय. नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय. पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय. गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय. भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय. सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय. श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की जय. श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय. श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय. शील प्रभुपाद की जय. शील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayed. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, Text 7. Text 7, chapter name The Renunciation of Kardava Muni. Text 7. Avadayam stada vyomni vaditrani ghana ghanaha gayanti tam sma gandharva nrutyantya saromuda. So I'll read translation for this and the next verse, and we'll do verse by verse for the verse 9. Okay. Translation. At the time of his descent on earth, demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instruments in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, while celestial dancing girls known as Apsaras danced in joyful ecstasy. Text 8. Petus sumanaso divyaha khecharaira pavarjitaha praseduscha dishas sarva ambhamsi cha manamsi cha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. At the time of Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers, all the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. Purport. It is learned here within that in the higher sky, there are living entities who can travel through the air without being hampered. Although we can travel in outer space, we are hampered by so many impediments, but they are not. We learn from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam that the inhabitants of the planets called Siddhaloka can travel in space from one planet to another without impediment. They showered flowers on the earth when Lord Kapila, the son of Kardama, appeared. Text 9. Tat Kardamashram padam Saraswatya parishritam Swayambhu Saka Mrushibhir Marichadi Bhirabhyatayat Tatkardamashram padam Saraswatya parishritam Swayambhusa ka amrashibhir marichadi bhirabhyayat tatkardamashramam padam Saraswatya parishritam Swayambhu sakamrushibhir marichadi bhirabhyayat. Tatkardamashram padam Vaishnavis. Arijjati bhirachaya tatkarma mashraya padam saraswatya parishritam swayambhu sakam rishibhir mayarichadi mibhari bhyat. Tat, that, Kardama, of Kardama, Ashrama Padam, to the place of the hermitage, Saraswatya, by the river Saraswati, Parishritam, surrounded, Swayambhu, Brahma, the self-born, Sakam, along with Rishibhi, the sages, Marichi, the great sage Marichi, Adibhihi, and others, Abhyayat, he came there. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki translation. Brahma, the first-born living being, went along with Marichi and other sages to the place of Kardama's hermitage, which was surrounded by the river Saraswati. Purport. Brahma is called Swayambhu because he is not born of any material father and mother. He is the first living creature and is born from the lotus which grows from the abdomen of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Therefore, he is called Swayambhu, self-born. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all devotees so that I can speak something glorifying Lord for all of your pleasure and for my purification. So we are in this chapter, Canto 3, Chapter 24, the renunciation of Kardama Muni. So we saw that how last few chapters Kardama, and he wanted to get married. He worshipped Lord Vishnu, and then Manu came and he offered his daughter Devahuti. Then they performed austerities for many years. Then Devahuti had a desire to enjoy, so Kardama Muni, he expanded himself, created that celestial mansion, and they enjoyed, and they had 9 daughters. And after that, Kardama Muni was said, I want to leave. And that time again, Devahuti says, if you could give me a son. And that time, Kardama Muni, satisfies her desire, and as promised by Lord Vishnu, he appears as Kapila Muni in the womb of Devahuti. So this was still here. So now in these 3 verses that we are covering today, 7 to 9, it is saying the effects, like in yesterday's verse, pretty so nicely mentioned. After many, many years, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Madhusudana, the killer of demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice. So in these 3 verses, it is saying the effects. What happened when Lord Kapila appeared. Okay. So the first verse, it says that at the time of his descent on earth, the demigods in the form of raining clouds sounded musical instrument in the sky. The celestial musicians, the Gandharvas, sang the glories of the Lord, while the celestial dancing girls, known as Apsaras, danced in joyful ecstasy. If we see, whenever Lord appears, this sequence of event, it repeats. We see in 10th canto, chapter 3, text 1 to 5, there also, when Krishna appeared, it is described what happened. Okay. The next, the 8th verse, it mentions again, at the time of Lord's appearance, the demigods flying freely in the sky showered flowers, all the directions, all the waters, and everyone's mind became very satisfied. So if we read this, 10th canto, text, chapter 3, text 1 to 5, there also we see exact same description, Thereafter, at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini, the sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. All directions appeared extremely pleasing, and the beautiful stars twinkled in the cloudless sky. Decorated with towns, villages, mines, and pasturing grounds, the earth seemed all auspicious. The rivers flowed with clear water, and the lake and the vast reservoirs, full of lilies and lotuses, were extraordinarily beautiful. In the trees and green plants, full of flowers and leaves, pleasing to the eyes, birds like cuckoos and swarms of bees began chanting with sweet voices for the sake of the demigods. A pure breeze began to blow, pleasing the sense of touch and bearing the aroma of flowers. And when the Brahmanas engaging in the ritualistic ceremonies ignited their fires according to Vedic principles, the fires burned steadily, undisturbed by the breeze. Thus, when the birthless Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was about to appear, the saints and the Brahmanas, who had always been disturbed by demons like Kamsa and his man, felt peace within the core of their hearts, and cattle drums simultaneously vibrated from upper planetary systems. So we see, exact same thing. So first thing is what? Demigods, they become very joyful. Reason? Generally, some demon like Kamsa or Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, they have been given very hard time to this demigods. So these demigods are troubled. So they know that finally the relief has arrived. Eventually. So that is one aspect. That's why the demigods are very happy. Then the Gandharvas,
their job is that, dance, play instruments and dance. Like when we have, our deities go in procession, devotees, they very happily welcome Lord, when our, now Snana Yatra will come, right? When Jagannath Ji comes, devotees are showering flowers, like at the time of Rath Yatra also, like Jagannath Ji goes around the temple hall. All the devotees, like demigods, they are showering flowers. So they are very happy. Lord has, finally arrived after long time, Lord of the universe, kindly be visible unto me, right? Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Pathagami, Bhavatu me. So when Lord becomes visible, naturally, devotees are happy. So they express their joy by showering flowers. And then the damsels, apsaras, they dance for pleasure of Lord. We like to see dance, right? The Hollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, all these industries, there's a huge section, choreography they call it, right? And now and then some song becomes popular and, eventually it, dies down. But the point is that everybody likes watching dancing. So Lord also likes, watching. So these apsaras, the celestial dancers, they dance for pleasure of Lord. And then, all the direction and all the waters and everyone's minds become very satisfied. See, this is very interesting, Prabhupada here in the purport is also mentioning that generally when there is a natural disturbance, you say, it's not comfortable for anyone, right? So when there is this tornado, now recently we had in east, many people got killed also, right? So that means there's when they're in the atmosphere, there is no calmness, there is disturbance, then it's very agitating to mind, there is no peace. But when Lord appears, naturally all the directions, immediately they become, because see, there are this, they call, I think Dikpalas, right? All these 10 directions, each one has their presiding deity and they control it over actually. And based on their, what you say, cannot say mood, but basically their, the whole atmosphere is getting, either disturbed or calm, pacified. So when Lord appears, naturally everyone is, all these directions are clear. There's no disturbance. Like here, when Lord Krishna appears, he said that all the stars, they automatically readjust themselves. This, you don't have to, so what it means is that when Lord appears in our heart and within our community, naturally all the living entities whom otherwise would be, very disturbing to each others, they become calm and pacified. And this is true for Lord and his devotees as well. Like, see, Lord Shiva's family, if we take, Lord Shiva has two sons, Ganesha and Kartikeya. And Ganesha's Vahan, is mouse. Now, Lord Shiva has snakes on his hand. So generally snakes eat mouse. And Kartikeya's, Vahan or like vehicle is peacock. So generally peacock eat snakes. But all these guys, they are living very peacefully without disturbing each other. Why? Lord Shiva is in center. Right. So same way, when Krishna appears or he is in center or his devotees appear, we see that many a times there can be two devotees in community. If we remove Prabhupada or Krishna, they may not, go along so nicely. But it is just because they are in picture, everything goes nicely, very well, So, that's why it's mentioned that, all the, everyone minds, becomes very satisfied. See this Bhagavad Gita, it explains, right, in 17th chapter, that everyone by nature is looking for happiness. And to get that happiness, everyone is engaging in sense gratification. But because sense gratification doesn't fulfill their this quest for happiness, they become dissatisfied. 17.16 Bhagavad Gita purport. But here, when Lord comes, without engaging in sense gratification, still everyone's mind is satisfied, it says. So how come? I was just thinking about this. So again, same thing. When a fish is back in water, he becomes happy. So when a living entity is in touch with Lord, naturally he becomes happy, satisfied. So therefore it's mentioned that their minds become very satisfied. It also mentioned that all the waters, they become very clear. So generally, said water is life. Without water, no living entity can sustain, right? So what happens that generally in the rainy season, when the rain comes, the water becomes very muddy. But when in Sharat season, autumn season, when that final rain comes, all the mud, it gets settled down. And the water becomes crystal clear, very easy to drink, So, when the Lord appears, all these external manifestations, like, in terms of water, or like, the cows giving milk, or, earth producing grains, everything is set back into the order because of Lord's presence. So we can take this in our life, that if these things are going good, that means yes, there is presence of Lord in our life. If not, that means there is some problem, right? So if we are not satisfied, so see, that means for some reason Lord is not in our life, or like the practice we are doing, Krishna consciousness, that is not up to the mark. It's very easy. So okay, there can be another satisfaction where we are not satisfied, we want to do more service. So I just distributed say 10 books, but I want to do 20 books or 100 books. So yeah, that dissatisfaction is not material. That's at another level where we want to increase our service to Lord. But otherwise, if we are having this material hankerings and dissatisfaction, that means there is some problem with our practice. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, first verse Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam, Shayah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam, Vidyavadhu Jivanam, right? Anandam Buddhivardhanam, Pratipatam Purnamrita Swadanam, Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, right? So, when this, by chanting this Hare Krishna, when the heart is cleansed of the dirt accumulated for years, then what happens is the Bhavamaha Davagni, like there are 7 effects of chanting, right? The first effect that, the whole Davagni, the forest fire of material existence, it calms down. We become satisfied. As in this world, if we see those people who are not satisfied, so there can be like, different categories, they either, those who are in mode of passion, they try to achieve whatever they want, and sometimes they adopt unfair means, they won't care for others' lives also. And those who are in mode of ignorance, they destroy themselves, they are not satisfied, right? But when one, takes shelter of Lord and he is satisfied, he practices nicely, then his mind naturally becomes satisfied. And then all these external hankerings, lamentations, they won't affect. Okay? So that is the effect of Lord's appearance, that everyone's mind, not even all over world, it's not only talking about devotees, but everyone's mind becomes very satisfied. Another thing is that Lord, when he appears, yes, devotees are satisfied, but there may not be a peaceful situation. Like when Krishna appeared in Vrindavan, everyone was very happy. Were they peaceful? No. Why? Every day some demon or other. So there was that anxiety. What will happen to Krishna? Putana came, Shakatasur came, right? Then Trunavarat came, right? Kaliya was there. So every day, every day there is. So anxiety is there. But so though there was this anxiety, so there was little bit, we kind of say commotion, when Krishna lifted Govardhan, Indra started, when Indra Puja was denied, Indra created so much havoc. So the situation was not peaceful, right? Externally. But that satisfaction was guaranteed. So in Krishna consciousness, we may not be peaceful, but this will be satisfied. Actually, we won't hanker and lament. Okay. Because that's the quality of Lord's presence. When He appeared, everything becomes satisfied. We are satisfied. So that's why we see that devotees, they are satisfied. Like Prabhupada used to say, we are satisfied even sitting under a tree and preaching. It's that nobody will come there, so we are like making this endeavor to build temples and preach. So otherwise, devotees are so satisfied they won't mind even staying under a tree. And 6 Goswamis, they did that, right? So on material level, if we try to have that satisfaction, it's not possible, because the nature of mind is it will always try to go for the sense gratification route. So somebody may say that no, we see some outside people who are very kind of self-content, self-satisfied, but they also, if we dig little deeper, on certain aspects, they'll not be completely satisfied, because again, until the soul is back in service of the Supreme Lord, he cannot get the real satisfaction. So here, that point is, so nicely mentioned, that everybody becomes very satisfied. Another point Prabhupada is mentioning is about demigods flying freely in the sky, showered flowers. See, these demigods, they have very interesting business. What happens is that they are engaged in their sense gratification. Of course, they karma mishra bhakta, right? They are doing their service as universal administrator. And then some demon comes, and then they run back to, Brahmaji. Brahmaji has to go to Shirodakshai, Vishnu, pray, and then Lord comes. And then when the demon comes, still they have sometimes doubt, when there is a fighting, whether Krishna will win or not, When Hiranyaksha and Varahadev, they were fighting, at one point when Varahadev's mess was, it went out from his hand, all the demigods, they again, they went and hid themselves in the clouds. Hey, we were laughing at Hiranyaksha. If for some reason, if Lord Varaha is defeated, this guy will come behind us now, we'll get a beating. So, but as soon as Lord is victorious, their job is they'll come and shower flowers, wherever, like, we see in Krishna book also, when we read, whenever Krishna kills demons, all these demigods, they come, shower flowers. Nice service, So they serve Lord in that way. So Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport here that they can fly in outer space without hampered by any material impediments. Now when we take a flight, there are so many things, everything has to be in order, right? Recently I was traveling and there was this cloudburst, thunderstorm. So we were on the runway, the plane cannot move. It's just, hampered, right? Hampered. The movement is hampered. So, but these are freely available to all these Siddha Lokas. But these are still within, all these Siddhis and everything, it is still within material realm. The main, the crux of benefit of Lord's appearance is that they become satisfied, purified, and they get attracted to Lord's pastimes. And then attraction is what will free us from this cycle of birth and death. So in and then he continues it says Brahma, who is Swayambhu, is born out of his only parent, like, that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he went to see Kardama and his hermitage because Lord Kapila is appearing. And then, the pastime continues, from, we'll discuss that further. So in essence, to summarize actually, so when Lord appears, everything becomes auspicious, everyone's mind becomes satisfied, all the external planets, directions, they are like, in their auspicious proper place. The waters, they become clear, there are, enough grains, everything. And more than that, the incessant hankering for sense gratification, which is, making everyone dissatisfied, that hankering is calmed and everyone's mind becomes, satisfied. And the living entities are attracted by Lord's pastimes, and that attraction leads to them, getting freed from this cycle of birth and death. And that's why there's no wonder that all devotees, they pray for Lord's, to get attracted to Lord's particular pastime. Like Satyavrat Muni, he prays, Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nile vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me manasya virasta malam lakshalabhay. So what is saying that? Oh Lord Damodar, let me always remember and get attracted to your form as Bal Gopal, who is, whose cheeks are, getting reddened by repeated kisses of Mother Yashoda. Idam te mukham bhojam atyanta nile. And whose urtam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopya muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me, and who has glistening, earrings, and who is playing in this courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. Let me always remember that. There is another devotee, from Padyavali, he prays that, let somebody worship the worship Supreme Lord Krishna. He gives the list, but he said, I worship Nanda Maharaj because in his courtyard the Supreme Brahman is playing. So let's pray that we all get attracted to. Lord has unlimited pastime. So even if we get attracted to one of this pastime, then we'll get this real satisfaction of mind and we won't hanker behind this. So let's pray that way Lord appears in our heart and our life and make our life successful. So with this, we would like to stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.